today's availability with head coach Hugh as we're 48 hours away from kickoff with Old Dominion Saturday night. We'll take some questions from the media, but first, Coach, how has practice gone this week? Are you pleased with the way that your team has chased the standard this week?
Yeah, it's been much better work, much better attention, much better level of intensity. I hope that leads to better execution on Saturday evening. But obviously, just really, I was pleased with even the way they took my coaching this week. I was pleased. I think we can build upon, practices like we had this week. Again, I don't know if that means you win or lose, but I do know that it puts you in a better position to win when you prepare the way we did this week.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take some questions here from the media. Start with Damien from the News in Advance.
You mentioned Monday when I guess asked a couple times about injuries that it was too soon to tell, and most of those guys were day by day. Have you been able to get some of those guys back from that list that you were hoping to get back for this week?
Man, it's still day to day with a lot of kids. We've been fortunate here our last 2 years not to have the injury bug hit us very much, but we're going through some of that now. It's like I told them this morning in our Thursday character trait theme meeting. And dream chasers always have adversity, and we've got some in that regard. And how we respond will, determine a lot about us as people and as a team. So, the injuries are what they are. The COVID world is what it is, and we've got to play the next play.
John from Sea of Red.
Coach, your offensive line gave up 5 sacks last week, and I know some of that, might have been personnel related. But as you said, next man up. How pleased have you been with your O-line through practice this week?
Yeah, we've had a good practice, but we definitely still have improvement to do there technique-wise, and we'll try to find ways to help them some with different ways. But we got to have some of those young guys play. And because of the status that we're in right now, and it's our job to get them better. So, Sam and I and Ben and Bruce have all, and some of it's not always the old line. Our running backs have to protect better also. So it's, that's our job to help them get better, and hopefully you'll see us better at it this Saturday.
David.
Hugh, Noah Frith only got 1 target last week, but it was a productive one with drawing the pass interference and getting the first down. But just adding him back to this offense with the way the slot receivers have been targeted, how much does that change the dynamic in providing a viable outside threat so that way, these teams aren't trying to double and keep an eye on DJ and DeMario as much as they have been?
Yeah, it's very important. We need production from our outside guys, and last week we just really, I got really conservative and just tried to control the game, and we did, and controlled the clock, and they had very few possessions. And so that's probably why he didn't get as many targets. I look for those to increase as we continue to build.
If Davis, their tailback, is not able to go, how much does that change the dynamic of what they can do offensively?
I don't think any. I think their quarterback is. I want to tell you, this is a good football team. They're out rushing Wake Forest all the way through the first half, and their defense plays as hard as I've seen. And so that's credit to a coaching staff, and they got 2 dynamic players over there. So whether or not they're they got backups too, just like we do, and they might not be. In your mind, quite as prepared as that other guy, but they've got guys that can make plays, and the quarterback is a dynamic runner. So, it won't change the game plan any.
John?
Coach, last week Troy had much of a air raid type of offense, but this week looks like ODU likes to, kind of pound the ball on the ground. How big of a test will they be against your defense to try to stop that run, slow it down?
Every week's a test. I told our team again this morning, you only get a testimony by passing a test. And you've got to, answer the bell every single week and prove yourself on that given day. And Every scheme's a little different. Every coaching staff's a little different. Some nights the offense has your number, and you feel like you're playing a call behind each time. So you got to go prove yourself, and every week's a test, and this is no different.
Damien?
You mentioned you want to see some young guys step up on the offensive line. Are there any that have caught your eye through practice and watching on film of saying, hey, this guy can come in and you'll make an impact for us Saturday?
I think Harry's going to be a good player, but he's a freshman. I think Will's going to be a good player, and Chase Mitchell. But they're young and they make a lot of mistakes, particularly when you're facing this mixed front that you're getting from ODU. I mean, they run that blended front, and they're creating a lot of havoc. And young kids, even old kids, make mistakes on that. So, but I think they're all going to be decent players. So hopefully they will prove to have a better understanding and execute better on Saturday evening when they're called upon. Adair's the same. Expect him to play a lot.
Are you optimistic on Darrell Johnson and Javian Lofton at this point, or is it too soon still to tell?
Too soon. I really have no idea.